Welcome back to the deep dive. We're here to cut through the noise, sift through the game tape aftermath, the sometimes painful stats, and really give you the insights you need. Today, it's all about that Packers loss to the Panthers, 16-13. An unexpected catastrophe, really. And our source material is a pretty brutal report card grading that whole performance. Some of these grades are, well, tough to look at. Our goal here is to go way beyond just the final score. We want to unpack the specific failures, across all the phases. Pass offense, pass D, rush D, special teams, and coaching. We need to figure out how a team supposedly chasing a Super Bowl ends up losing like this, especially to a team that was a double-digit underdog.
Yeah, and that's the real head-scratcher here, isn't it? The sources, they confirm the Packers actually moved the ball pretty consistently, averaged over 7 yards a play, which sounds great, but they just couldn't punch it until late. They made these critical mistakes, suffered what looks like a really killer injury, and maybe worst of all, that run defense, the one that was ranked near the top of the league. It just completely vanished. So yeah, the grades are, let's say, uninspiring. We got to dig into why it all went so wrong.
Okay, let's kick things off with the offense. Pass offense specifically, grade D. And this is where it gets weird, because Jordan Love's stats, on the surface, don't look that bad. I mean, 273 yards, completed over 70% of his passes, averaged more than 10 yards per completion. You'd think those numbers would lead to more points, right?
Exactly. Those numbers look decent on paper, but a D grade tells you the stuff that really matters. Touchdowns, turnovers must have been, well, bad. And they were. The report card calls out some really ugly moments that those stats just paper over. The biggest one, that interception deep downfield.
Ah, yeah, I remember that one. Tell us about it.
Love went for Christian Watson on a deep post. Problem was, Watson wasn't just covered. He was, like, triple covered. Trayvon Moehrig just camped under it for maybe the easiest interception I'll ever get.
Triple covered. Okay, so was that just a terrible decision, a bad read, or was it maybe desperation setting in? What did the analysis point to?
It leans towards desperation, honestly, and you kind of have to look at who wasn't on the field or who got hurt. This performance, it's tough to excuse, but context matters. They were already down Jaden Reed on IR, Dontavian Wicks was inactive, so the receiving core was thin to begin with.
Right, a real MAS unit situation even before kickoff, and then it just got worse during the game, didn't it?
Oh, yeah. Christian Watson goes into concussion protocol. Matthew Golden injures his shoulder. But the devastating blow, Tucker Kraft, tight end, went down in the third quarter with a knee injury.
Yeah, that looked bad. The reports are saying it could be season-ending. That's the fear. And you just can't overstate how big a loss that is. He'd become such a key guy, leader, playmaker, and maybe most importantly for this offense right now, a crucial blocker. Trying to adjust without him, that's going to be incredibly tough, especially with the other issues we saw.
Like the pass protection, that was another big red flag in the report. It was porous all day. Jordan Morgan, the rookie, apparently got abused, quote unquote, in both pass pro and run blocking.
Yeah, and it wasn't just the rookie. Even the veterans, Elton Jenkins, Sean Ryan, they struggled too. And here's the kicker. They struggled against a Panthers defense that came into the game with only 13 sacks all season. 13.
Wow. Yeah, if you can't block that front, you're in deep trouble. Forget executing the rest of the game plan.
Exactly. And that flows right into the rushing offense, which somehow managed to C grade, just barely. Josh Jacobs, his final numbers look, well, okay,
Right.
17 carries, 87 yards, over 5 yards a pop, got a touchdown.
But that C grade suggests inconsistency, right, which is something Coach LaFleur keeps bringing up. They just can't seem to move the ball reliably on the ground when it counts. That's precisely it.
Yeah.
They couldn't sustain drives with the run game. And the sloppiness again.
Don't forget that fumble on the opening drive. Savion Williams, horizontal pass that counts as a run, coughs it up in the red zone. Just like that, potential points gone.
Yep, a killer mistake. And it points to this bigger issue the sources highlight.
Yeah.
Defenses are playing these shell coverages. They're taking away the deep ball. They're basically daring the Packers to be patient, to put together these long, methodical 10, 12-play drives.
Okay, so if the defense is giving them the underneath stuff, why aren't they just taking it, dinking and dunking their way downfield? Is it players not executing that patient approach, or is the coaching still too focused on hitting the home run?
Seems like it's mostly execution, and it's made harder by the personnel issues. When you have to be patient, every single block, every route, every read becomes critical. Losing Kraft, who is really important for that interior blocking, that's just going to make sustaining those grinding drives even more difficult going forward.
All right, let's pivot here. From a disappointing offense to what the report card calls a catastrophic defense, specifically the rush defense, grade F.
F, yeah. No sugarcoating that one.
And this is the real shocker, isn't it? Because stopping the run was supposed to be their strength. Ranked third in yards allowed, fourth in yards per carry. They'd only let one team crack 100 yards rushing against them all season before this.
Exactly. That strength just did evaporate, completely gone. It wasn't just a bad day. The report calls it the Dowdle disaster.
Rico Dowdle, he just ran wild.
Ran wild is putting it mildly. 25 carries, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. He just consistently gashed him. It felt like a total breakdown of the front seven. Tackling, gap integrity, everything.
And the backbreaker moment came right after the Packers finally tied the game late. Felt like maybe they had some momentum.
Yep. Then boom. Dowdle rips off a 19-yard run. Just like that, Panthers are in easy field goal range. Game basically over. It was just a failure at the absolute worst time.
So how did Carolina do it? What was their strategy?
It was pretty straightforward, really, and Green Bay just had no answer. The Panthers clearly wanted to keep feeding Dowdle, control the clock, shorten the game, limit Love's chances. And because the Packers couldn't stop the run at all, Carolina got to play the exact slow, grinding game they wanted to. Perfect game plan for an underdog. Executed perfectly because the defense couldn't stop step one.
And looking ahead, this is scary now, right? They got the Eagles coming up next week. Saquon Barkley.
Oh, yeah. No time to lick their wounds. And the timing couldn't be worse, especially if defensive tackle Colby Wooden is out for any length of time. He left with a shoulder injury.
So going up against arguably the best rushing attack in the league, potentially down a key defensive lineman right after this performance. Yikes.
Yikes is right. Which honestly makes it kind of hard to fairly judge the pass defense. They got a C grade.
Yeah, the numbers look okay. Bryce Young only had 102 passing yards. Xavier McKinney had that great interception early on.
Right. McKinney's pick was huge on the second possession. But after that, almost nothing. The pass rush, which is supposed to be this elite unit,
Totally silent, wasn't it?
pretty much. The only QB hits recorded were by McKinney himself and linebacker Quay Walker. Young, the rookie QB, wasn't pressured much, could extend plays when he needed to, but honestly the Panthers didn't need to throw because Dowdle was carving them up. The run defense failure basically protected the pass defense stats.
Okay, that makes sense. Then there's special teams, another rough grade. D.
Yeah, just adding to the misery. A big part of that seems to be the kicking game. Brandon McManus.
He's missed 3 field goals since coming back from that quad injury, right? Including a pretty makeable one in this game.
Yep, a 43-yarder after their first drive of the second half. That could have shifted momentum, made it 13-9. Instead, miss.
Yeah.
So sources say the kicking situation is just constantly dragging them down.
And the return game wasn't much better, was it? Savion Williams seemed hesitant back there sometimes.
Yeah, indecisive. And get this stat. Kaizian Nixon, the 2-time All-Pro returner, he hasn't even returned a kickoff all season. Speaks volumes about opportunities, maybe blocking too.
Wow. And the punt returns were bad too, against a coverage unit that was ranked near the bottom of the league.
Exactly. Only got 6 yards on 2 returns against the 31st ranked punt coverage team. It's like they're just leaving yards and potential points on the field every week in the kicking game. Just not good enough. And look, when you have failures across offense, defense, and special teams, inevitably you have to look at the coaching, which also received an F grade.
An F for coaching, too. Wow, so where does the analysis point the finger there?
Well, defensively, it digs into the philosophy under Jeff Hafley, the coordinator. The stated goal is, logical. Prevent the big explosive plays downfield. Don't give up easy touchdowns.
Okay, makes sense in theory,
Right.
but the report suggests the result is something else entirely.
Yeah, the result is what the source calls a death by 1,000 paper cuts approach. By playing softer coverage, maybe, to prevent the bomb, they allowed Carolina to just chew up the clock.
No,
Remember that time of possession? Carolina held the ball for 16 minutes and 49 seconds in the first half alone. Green Bay only got 3 offensive possessions. That's just letting the opponent dictate everything.
3 possessions. Wow, so they're essentially trading big plays allowed for just sustained drives allowed.
That seems to be the trade-off, and the report makes a comparison that will probably make Packers fans cringe. It says Hafley's defense right now looks worryingly similar to the Joe Barry defenses from 2021 to 2023.
Oof. Yeah, that comparison brings back some painful memories. Soft zones, giving up the underneath stuff. Bend, but don't break until you eventually break.
Pretty much. That philosophy allows teams to play keep away, especially if they can run the ball like Carolina did.
Which circles back to the head coach, Matt LaFleur. Beyond the overall lack of preparedness, the report highlights recurring issues like the slow starts. They've scored, 13 points or fewer in the first half of their last 6 games?
That's the stat, just consistently coming out flat. And that lack of urgency, or maybe questionable decision-making under pressure really crystallized on one specific play.
The fourth down call in the fourth quarter.
That's the one. Trailing 13-6, about 11 minutes left. It's 4th and 8 from the Carolina 13-yard line. A pretty makeable field goal makes it 13-9, a one-score game.
But he went for it, burned a timeout first, then went for it.
Right. And the conversion failed. Love almost threw another interception under pressure. It was a huge gamble that just didn't pay off.
And the report flags that as a major turning point.
Absolutely. And credit to LaFleur, he owned it afterwards. The quote in the source is pretty direct. Hindsight's 20/20. I wish we would have taken the points. Didn't do that there. Yeah, bad decision.
Okay, admitting it is one thing. But that decision, combined with the slow starts, the sloppy play against teams they should beat.
Exactly. It fits this concerning pattern we've seen. The close call against Arizona, struggles with Cleveland, now this loss to Carolina. For a team that talks about Super Bowl contention, that kind of inconsistency against, let's say, inferior opponents, it's just not acceptable.
So let's try to put all these pieces together. This wasn't just one bad bounce or one bad call. It sounds like a systemic breakdown. The run defense failure was maybe the biggest culprit, totally out of character. But you also had critical offensive mistakes, really poor pass protection, and a coaching decision that directly cost them points.
That sums it up pretty well. The final picture is, well, it's grim right now. They're facing adjustments on the fly, likely without Tucker Kraft, maybe without Colby Wooden too. These are key guys. And they have to fix this trend of slow starts and sloppy play like yesterday. Because they have just 8 days before the defending Super Bowl champs, the Philadelphia Eagles, walk into Lambeau Field.
Yeah, the timing is brutal. It really puts them in a tough spot strategically. We saw how this defensive philosophy, this focus on preventing explosives, kind of backfired, right? It let Carolina play their game. So that leaves you, the listener, with something to think about. What can this team actually do internally beyond just hoping guys get healthy? How do they adjust their defensive thinking? Can they find a way to be aggressive, to generate pressure without leaving themselves wide open to getting bled slowly by conservative offenses determined to just grind out the clock? Finding that balance, that's the huge challenge facing them right now.